we're in a a marriage series, and we're talking about trying to steer people to good advice rather than the bad advice that
Mhm.
sometimes you often hear in the media or on the latest Disney or Hallmark special. Uh, there's a lot of bad advice out there. So what I thought this would be kind of fun. I just want to maybe shoot out some of these little tidbits that we've all heard before, and I'd love, maybe you guys can tag team or whatever, kind of maybe hint toward what would be better advice than that. I mean, the first one that I remember hearing in early on in Jack and I's marriage is, happy wife, happy life. As long as wife is happy, all is fine. Why is that maybe not the end all be all of great advice for marriage?
I don't know what you're talking about. I thought that was a real true one.
Okay.
It's in the Bible.
Well, first of all, we have to ask ourselves, what do we hear in Scripture? Does the living God say, I want you to have a perfectly wonderful life now, or in this world you're going to have trouble, and just wait till you are home with me?
Yeah.
And so we have this very immediate gratification orientation. Our flesh, okay, desires the immediate gratification. So in all of the little themes that you brought up here, one of the things that comes up to me is First John, when it says in First John chapter 2, verse 15 and following, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the boastful pride of life. The eyes, the flesh, my physical, flesh, and then what I really long for. And so if we look at that as a kind of like a filter, examining now happy wife, happy life, or you already referenced Disney, which my daughters, I got 3 daughters, they know they're 26, 24, 22. They all know all of the Disney songs. So we watched all the movies, but I remember when they were growing up, we would sometimes pause it and go, okay, the princess getting the prince, and you don't get to see the rest of the story, right?
Right.
You don't get to see the rest of the story. We only end on it's a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
And when we come to life saying, that's what I demand or what my expectation is, we are setting ourselves up for disappointment. And when we're disappointed with the living God and the truth of his word, and then we're disappointed with ourselves. And it's because what we've done is we've gravitated towards the things that we've already been cautioned with, that will be temptations, that will be things that are what we call false idols.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think if we think about that marriage will be good if you do everything to fulfill your wife's desires, right? Make her happy. The whole principle of Christ in me is that I no longer live, that I'm dying to myself.
Mhm.
And that Christ now is living in me. So to advocate that in a marriage, a husband should in any way indulge or cultivate a self-centered, self-serving heart in his wife would actually be against everything that Scripture is teaching us about self-denial and about really learning to live out Christ and to die to myself. And so many times we call it the upside down principles. The worldly view is often completely opposite of what God would give us as means of being able to achieve what we ultimately want is joy, a supernatural joy in our relationship that sustains us, perseveres right through the difficulties of life, because this isn't our best life now.